Hello and welcome to the next Key Stage 3 Maths lesson. So today we are going to be looking at ratio. A ratio is all about sharing and being fair, so splitting something into amounts. So your learning objectives are to be able to simplify ratios and to be able to divide an amount by a given ratio. So a ratio is used to share things out when we are being fair. And it's also used when one thing has a greater representation than another. So it's a way of splitting things that's fair, but it hasn't got to be half and half. For example, what is the ratio of red counters to yellow? So if you look at the screen, how many red counters are there? There are 5. And how many yellow counters? There are 3. So you write that as 5, 2 dots, 3. 5 to 3. So 5 red to 3 yellow. That means there are 8 counters in total. 5 add 3 equals 8. The ratio of green to blue counters would be how many greens there are, which there are 4, and how many blue counters there are, which is 5. So therefore the ratio would be 4 to 5. So a ratio compares values. It says how much of the one thing there is compared to another thing. So 1 to 3, 1 2 dots, 3. And ratios can be simplified by dividing each part by the highest common factor. So we look at this example below. Which times table are 7 and 21 in? They are both in the 7 times table, so that's the highest common factor. So the next thing you do is how many 7s are in 7, which is 1, and how many 7s are in 21, which is 3. So the ratio 7 to 21 can be simplified to 1 to 3. What I'd like you to do now is pause the screen, and I'd like you to give this worksheet a go. So the first block of questions on the left hand side, you have to write down the ratio of black counters to white in the top corner. Then in the bottom corner it asks you to simplify your answer. So if both sides of the ratio are in the same times table, you can simplify the ratio. On the right hand side there is another worksheet, and all I want you to do is shade in the circles to represent the given ratio of black to white. So for question 1 it's 4 to 1. So the first 4 counters you would shade in black, then you'd leave 1 white. After that you also have some more counters, so you could do the same again. So the next 4 could be coloured in black, and you could leave the very last one white. Or you can put them all together, so you could put 8 black and 2 white. So can you just pause the video and give this a try for 5 to 10 minutes please? So you've tried that one where it's quite visual. This time I want you to try it without the visual aids. So if you are not so confident with them, can you try the green one? So you just simplify the ratio. So 4 to 2, they're both in the 2 times table. So how many 2s are in 4, which is 2, and how many 2s are in 2, which is 1. So the question 1 for green would simplify to 2 to 1. If you're a bit more confident, you can go for the amber ones. So what times table are both 18 and 15 in? So that would be the 3 times table. How many 3s are in 18, how many 3s are in 15. You can simplify that ratio. And then if you think you're very confident, you can try the red ones. So here you can see that there are 3 ratios, but the exact same rule applies. You need to find out which times table 12, 21 and 33 are in, and then you can simplify it. But this time, instead of being 2 numbers, there will be 3 numbers. So it makes it a little bit more difficult. So if you want to, you can start with the green ones and work your way up. If you're feeling very confident, start with the red ones. If you're feeling, it's okay, not too bad, start with the amber ones. So you can just pause the video for 10 minutes. And can you give these ones a try, please, without the visual aids? Okay, well done for doing that one. So just remember that your work can always be sent back to the Edge Academy, and we will mark it and get it back to you, so if you know if you're doing it right, or give you feedback on what you can improve on. So always remember you can send your work to the Edge Academy and it will be marked. So here I'm going to show you, those that didn't try the red ones, how to work out the 3. So for ratios in more than 2 parts, all parts must be divided by the same number. So 7, 14 and 21. So which times table are 7, 14, 21 in? That's the 7s. How many 7s are in 7? That would be 1. How many 7s in 14? That would be 2. How many 7s are in 21? That would be 3. So that would cancel down to 1, to 2, to 3. Can you give number 2 a try, please, by yourselves? So which times table are 3, 12, 24 and 36 in? So I'll just give you a minute or so just to try that one. Okay, what I will do is go back to this for you, so you can pause it here. If you feel like you've just learned something and you want to try the red ones now, you can try the red ones. So if you want to try the red ones and you haven't, just give the screen a pause again and you can carry on with those. Next, we're moving on to be able to divide an amount by a given ratio, so the second learning objective. So you should be able to simplify the ratios now based on what you've just done. So now we move on to be able to divide an amount by a given ratio. So often we need to divide an amount by a ratio. So divide £50 into the ratio 2 to 3. There are some common steps that you can use to help you work this out. So here are the steps that you need. You might want to make a note of these, so you can write them down if you want to. So step 1, add together the total number of parts of the ratio. So if we go back to this example, divide £50 into the ratio 2 to 3, add up the 2 parts, so 2 add 3 would equal 5. Divide the given amount by the total number of parts. That's step 2. So divide the given amount by the total number of parts. So the total number of parts would be 2 add 3, which is 5. The amount is 50. So you do £50 divided by 5, which equals 10. So 1 part is worth £10. Multiply the answer by each ratio amount. So the £10 we've just got. So £10 times 2, £10 times 3. So that means that one person would get £20 and one person would get £30. And there is a check that you can do on your questions. So check that your answers are right by adding up the total, and it should equal the same as what's in the question. So there we go, back again. So one person got £20, the other person got £30. £20 and £30 should equal £50, which is in the question. So again, if you want to make a note of these, take a photo of the screen so you can see it for later on. That's the steps that you need to go through to answer the questions. So there is the example with the question at the top. So that's the steps that we just did. Add together the total number of parts of the ratio, so 2 add 3 equals 5. divide the given amount by the total number of parts, so 50 divided by 5 equals 10. Multiply the answer, so 10 times 2 equals 20 and 10 times 3 equals 30. Check that your answer adds up to the same total given in the question, so 20 add 30 equals 50. So there's an example with a question at the top that we've just done. So what I'd like you to do, I'd like you to give these 5 questions a try. So these are a bit more worded, but you do exactly the same thing. So 2 children share out 96 sweets in the ratio of 5 to 7. Calculate how many sweets each child will receive. So you use the steps. So step 1 is add up the ratio, 5 add 7. Step 2, you take the amount, 96, and divide it by the answer from step 1. Once you've got that answer, you times it by 5, you times it by 7, and then you do your check at the end. So that's just talked you quickly through question 1. Can you pause the screen for 10-15 minutes? Give these ones a try. If it has got 3 ratios, so for example question 2, 1 to 5 to 6, you do exactly the same, except this time you add up all the ratios, 1, add 5, add 6, and at the end you times your answer by 1, 5 and 6. Okay, remember you can always send your work into the Edge Academy to be marked and give you feedback. But these ones now are a little bit more difficult. So Hannah has 16 DVDs and 24 videos. Write down the ratio of the number of DVDs to the number of videos. Give you a ratio in its simplest form. So this is going back to what you did at the start. This is simplifying ratios. So I just want to give that a try for me. Pause the screen. Try those 3 questions. Okay, well done. Split £30 into different ratios. So, can you give this a try, please? Remember, you have to add up the ratio. Okay, well done. So today, the learning objectives were to be able to simplify ratios and to be able to divide an amount by a given ratio. Here's them. Make sure you can still do it. They both go into the 3 times table. So how many 3s are in 6? That would be 2. How many 3s are in 3? That would be 1. So that is simplifying the ratio. So if you can do that, you have met learning objective 1 to be able to simplify ratio. Now to move on to the second learning objective, to be able to divide an amount by a given ratio. Split £30 in the ratio 2 to 8. How do we do it? So can you write down how you do it first before you check? To pause the screen. Okay, and this is how we do it. How many parts altogether? So 2 add 8 equals 10. Work out what 1 part is worth. So 30 divided by 10 equals 3. Then you take that amount 3 and times it by 2. Then you take that amount 3 and times it by 8. And that will give you your answer. So if you split that one into £6 and £24, give yourself a big tick and you have achieved the second learning objective. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you've learned how to simplify ratio and learned how